Have you ever watched a native English speaker get asked a simple question? For example, so how was your weekend? And they just flow. 30 seconds of natural, easy speech. And meanwhile, when someone asks you the same question, your mind just goes blank after 4 words. It's not because they know more words than you. Listen to me. It's because they were taught something you were not taught. They were taught a structure, a framework hiding underneath every fluent conversation. And today, my friend, I'm going to show you the framework. I call it the FluencyPanion, your fluency companion. And once you see it, you will never hear English the same way again. My friend, are you ready? Well then, let's jump right in. Layer number 1, 3 details. This is the first layer of our framework. Let me break this down for you. You see, this is the real reason why you freeze. The single biggest reason why you freeze is you answer in one breath and then have nothing left. For example, someone asks you, how was your weekend? Your response, it was good. And you're done. And there's silence. The conversation dies and you feel exposed. Let me break this down even more. This is actually what native speakers do. You see, native speakers don't answer in one breath. Instead, when they touch a topic, they instinctively give 3 details. We're talking about the framework, this structure that native speakers have been taught and already know, and now you are learning. They start with 3 details. Not 1, not 10, 3. 3 is the magic number. Enough to sound full and natural. Few enough, though, that you never feel overwhelmed or like you're rambling. This is the thing, the bottom line. 3 details is the foundation. Everything else in the FluencyPanion gets built on top of it. So let's break this down visually very quickly. Again, looking at the FluencyPanion. So we have this first layer. Our first layer of the FluencyPanion. In the middle, no matter what the topic is. So in the middle, we're going to say this is our topic, whatever the topic might be. And we have right here the details. This is the detail layer. So we have detail number 1, and we're going to see how this is actually broken down in a real situation. All right. This is detail number 2, and this is detail number 3. Again, this is layer number 1 of our FluencyPanion. This is a structure that native speakers are already aware of, the bottom line. So let's go into this and see a practical application. First, look at this situation. Let's say the topic is a trip you took. 3 details. I went to the mountains for a long weekend. Detail number 2, we stayed in a small cabin near a lake. Detail number 3, the weather was cold but perfectly clear. 3 details about the situation. Now, let's see situation number 2, a restaurant you tried. Detail 1, it's a small Italian place about 10 minutes from my house. That's a detail. Detail number 2, the pasta was homemade. You could really taste the difference. That's detail number 2. And number 3, it was a little expensive, but the portions were generous. That's detail number 3. You're already seeing how this simple framework, layer 1, helps a native speaker sound fluent. Look at this third situation. The same is true. A new skill or hobby, if that's the situation, the topic. Detail number 1, I recently started learning to play the guitar. Detail number 2, I practice for about 20 minutes most evenings. And detail number 3, I can already play 2 full songs. Once again, layer number 1, 3 details, but we go even deeper. What if someone asks you a question? And this is the question. What's your hometown like? Answer with 3 details. It's a medium-sized city near the coast. The weather stays warm most of the year, and it's famous for its food markets. A question, and you responded to it with 3 details because you understood layer 1 of the FluencyPanion. Does it really work? Here's the second question. For every question, what do you do for work? Answer, using 3 details. Layer 1, I work in marketing for a tech company. Detail 1, my main job is managing social media campaigns. Detail 2, and I work mostly from home. Detail number 3, it just works, and native speakers know this framework. What about question 3? What did you do last weekend? Answer, I caught up on sleep on Saturday morning. Detail 1. Then I met some friends for dinner downtown. Detail 2. And on Sunday, I cleaned my apartment. Detail number 3. It simply works. Answering the questions using layer number 1 of our FluencyPanion. But does it really work if you're speaking about something different? What about your day? 3-part breakdown for your day. The morning. I usually wake up around 7. Detail number 1. I have coffee before I do anything else. Detail number 2. And I check the news while it's still quiet. Detail number 3. It simply works. What about your afternoon? My afternoons are the busiest part of my day. Detail number 1. I have most of my meetings then. Detail number 2. And I have take a short walk after lunch to reset. Detail number 3. What about the evening? I cook dinner most nights instead of ordering. Detail number 1. I watch 1 episode of a show to relax. Detail number 2. And I try to be in bed by 11. Detail number 3. It simply works, and native speakers know this framework. Here's the belief shift I have for you related to layer number 1. You already know enough words. My friend, you are intelligent. You already know enough words. You were just never told to give 3. You were never told to give 3 details. Watch what happens to your speaking when you stop answering in one breath. And we're just on layer number 1. This leads us now to layer number 2. Layer number 2 is personal opinion plus 3 reasons. Personal opinion plus 3 reasons. Let's break this down. Personal opinion plus 3 reasons. So here's the explanation, the breakdown of layer 2. The important transition phase. You see, details, layer 1, make you understood. People understand what you're saying. Opinions, however, layer 2, make you interesting. This is where you stop sounding like a reporter. I'm just giving details, just giving facts, and you start sounding like a person with an idea, with an opinion, with a thought. This is another thing that you have to keep in mind. What native speakers actually do. Again, layer 2. Native speakers don't just describe. They take a position and back it up. This is my opinion, and these are my reasons. This is the exact structure they practiced in every school essay, including me, your teacher. I practiced this in middle school, in high school, in college, university. This is why I'm able to speak English fluently. So when you know the framework, when you know literally the FluencyPanion, you'll be able to speak fluently. Claim and then support your claim. State what you think, then give 3 reasons why. Lastly, the bottom line. Notice the build. Layer 2 sits right on top of layer 1. The 3 reasons are details. They're just details that now defend an opinion. Same examples as before, but now we're going to go deeper. This is the layer where the real you, your taste, your personality finally comes through in English. This is a powerful layer. So let's go back to our FluencyPanion, our framework. So now we're looking at layer number 2. Again, it builds on the first layer. Layer number 1 was all about details. Now we have layer number 2. And layer number 2 is all about giving your personal opinion, and then you must give 3 reasons. So right here, we have your personal opinion. And we're going to go deeper on this to look at some examples. Personal opinion. Then we have your reason. Let's do this. This is your reason. And this is reason number 1. I'm going to write this. Then you have your reason number 2. And then you have your reason number 3. Again, we're building on layer number 1. What was layer number 1? Yes, details. Layer number 2, you're giving your personal opinion plus 3 reasons to support your personal opinion. We're building on layer 1. What does this look like? Okay, we have the same situations, a trip you took. Again, now layer 2 is layer being personal opinion and 3 reasons. A trip you took. Honestly, it was the perfect getaway. That's your opinion. The cabin was quiet so I could finally rest. Being near the lake helped me disconnect, reason number 2, and the cold weather made the cozy nights even better. My opinion and 3 reasons. What about the second situation? Does this actually work? A restaurant you tried. I'd definitely go back. The homemade pasta was worth every cent. The service felt warm and personal, and it's close enough to become a regular spot. Personal opinion, I definitely go back, and 3 reasons. Situation number 3, a new skill or hobby. I think learning guitar was one of my better decisions. Opinion, it gives me a break from screens. Reason, it's relaxing after a long day. Reason, and there's something satisfying about slowly improving. Reason, personal opinion, and 3 reasons. Does this work, though, with questions? Let's see. Question number 1. What's your hometown like? Honestly, I think it's a great place to grow up. Personal opinion. It's safe and relaxed. Reason. Everything is close together. Reason. And the people there are genuinely friendly. Personal opinion and 3 reasons. You're answering the question based on the FluencyPanion layer number 2. Question number 2. What do you do for work? I actually really enjoy my job. Opinion. The work keeps me creative. Reason. My team is supportive. Reason. And I'm always learning something new. Opinion and 3 reasons. Question number 3. What did you do last weekend? It was honestly the perfect weekend. I got enough rest. Reason. I spent time with people I care about. Reason. And I felt productive without feeling rushed. Following layer 2, personal opinion, and 3 reasons. Again, layer 2, building on layer 1 of our FluencyPanion. What about our 3-part day breakdown? Here's the morning. I love the morning. I'm an early bird. It's the quietest, most peaceful part of my day. Reason. My mind is sharpest before noon. Reason. And starting early makes me feel ahead of everything. Reason. Personal opinion and 3 reasons. What about the afternoon? The afternoon is my least favorite, to be honest. Opinion. My energy dips right after lunch. Reason. It's usually packed with meetings. Reason. And the day can start to feel long. Reason. Personal opinion and reason. What about the evening? The evening is when I finally relax. Opinion. The work is done. Reason. I can do something just for me. Reason. And it's the only time the house is truly calm. Layer 2 is all about giving your opinion and then supporting it with 3 reasons. So what is the belief shift? Listen, my friend, in your native language, you have opinions about everything. That person does not disappear in English. They just need this structure to come out. They just need this structure, my friend. The FluencyPanion, these 3 layers, we're on layer 2. You simply need to know the structure, the framework that native speakers actually use. This leads us to layer number 3. Personal experience plus the 5 W's. Let's break this one down. Personal experience plus the 5 W's. So here is the reason this layer is actually important. This is the layer that makes you unforgettable. Details, layer 1, inform, giving information, giving facts. Opinions, layer 2, reveal your personality, who you are, your thoughts. But stories, layer 3, personal experiences, stories connect. The moment you share a personal experience, the listener stops evaluating your English and starts listening to you. This is why this layer is so important. Here's the thing. Learner versus native. The difference. Here's where most learners, English learners, go wrong. They'll tell a story that's really just one flat sentence. A real story, on the other hand, has shape, a setting, the people in it, a moment where something goes wrong or shifts. Don't miss today's story. Story time. Don't miss the story at the end, right? It tells how the story turned out and what you walked away understanding. You don't need fancy literary terms. Just where and when it happened, who was there, what went wrong or surprised you, how it ended, and what it taught you. This is how you really tell a story. Here's the anchor. Then, on top of that story, you anchor it with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why, to make sure your listener has every key piece of information. The story gives the emotion and the shape. The 5 W's make sure nothing important is missing. There's 2 distinct tools working together: your personal experience, the story, and the 5 W's, making sure everything is included. Here's the full build. Notice, a layer 3 story naturally contains layer 1's details and naturally carries your opinion and feelings from layer 2. This is the entire FluencyPanion in motion. So let's look at it again. We have our first 2 layers. Now we're adding layer number 3 of our FluencyPanion. And what is layer number 3 actually made up of? Again, we understand we have first your personal. We're looking at layer 3, building on the previous layers. We have layer 3, personal experience. We have who, what, when, where, and why. The 5 W's. Who, let's do this. What, when, where, and why. This is the full framework, the FluencyPanion framework, 3 different layers. So let's see, does this actually work? Practical application. Again, now we have the same situation, a trip you took. Listen to the story. Listen closely. Last winter, my brother and I drove up to a cabin in the mountains. The first night, the heater completely broke and it was freezing. We ended up wrapping ourselves in every blanket we could find and laughing about it until 2 a.m. That broken heater turned into the best night of the whole trip. It reminded me that the unplanned moments are usually the ones you remember. Who was it? My brother and me. What did we do? A weekend mountain trip where the heater broke. When? Last winter. Where? A cabin in the mountains. Why it mattered? It taught me the unplanned moments are the ones you keep. Layer 3, personal experience that include the 5 W's. What about this situation? A restaurant you tried. Layer 3 now, we're building on the framework. A few months ago, a friend dragged me to this tiny Italian place I'd never have chosen myself. I was tired and almost canceled, but the owner came out, recommended a dish I'd never heard of. And it ended up being the best meal I'd had in a year. Now it's our restaurant, and I almost missed it because I wanted to stay home. Who? A friend and me, plus the owner. What? Discovering an unforgettable dish. When? A few months ago. Where? A tiny Italian restaurant near me. Why it mattered? It reminded me to stay, yes, more often. Situation number 3. Same situation. Now we're using level 3, layer 3 of our FluencyPanion framework. Last year, I bought a cheap guitar on an impulse, convinced I'd give up in a week like I always do. For the first month, my fingers hurt and I sounded terrible. Then one evening, I played a full song without stopping and I actually teared up. That little moment proved to me I could stick with something. 5 W's. Who? Me and eventually friends I play for. What? Learning my first full song on guitar. When? Over the past year. Where? At home most evenings. Why? It mattered. It showed me I don't always quit. You see how layer 3 can be used for these situations. What about a question? What's your hometown like? Let me tell you what it was really like. I grew up on a street where my whole extended family lived within a few houses of each other. Every Sunday, all of us, grandparents, cousins, everyone crammed into my grandmother's tiny kitchen for lunch. One Sunday, the power went out and we just kept cooking by candlelight and never stopped talking. That's the image that comes to me whenever I think of my home. The 5 W's anchor. Who? My whole extended family. What? Our weekly Sunday lunches. When? Throughout my childhood. Where? My grandmother's house. Why it mattered. It's why home will always mean togetherness to me. Even for questions, when you use the framework looking at layer 3, you will speak English fluently. Question number 2. What do you do for work? I actually fell into my career by accident. 5 years ago, I was unemployed and a friend offered to pass my resume to her company, almost as a favor. I started in the lowest position, terrified I didn't belong. Then I led one small project that did really well, and everything changed from there. I stayed because that first yes from a friend turned into a career I love. Now, this is the part of the question we're looking at layer 3. So, of course, prior to this, the person said their job title. But notice the 5 W's can be found in this response. Who? Me and the friend who recommended me. What? Landing and growing into my job. When? Over the last 5 years. Where? At my current company. Why? It mattered because it taught me one opportunity to can change everything. Question number 3. Same question as we had before. What did you do last weekend? This past weekend was simple but kind of perfect. On Sunday, my husband and I decided last minute to drive out to a lake an hour away. We rented a little boat, completely underestimated how to row it, and spent 20 minutes going in circles before we figured it out. We laughed so hard we forgot we'd left our phones in the car all day, which is exactly what we needed. Who? Me and the friend who recommended me. But this one actually should be changed. It's talking about my husband and I, right? So the 5 W's information at the bottom, it should be my husband and I. But you're seeing what happens when you use layer 3. Now let's check again those 5 W's to verify. Who? My husband and me. What? A spontaneous day at the lake. When? Last Sunday. Where? A lake about an hour away. Why it mattered? It was the disconnection we'd both been craving. You see how we used layer 3 of our fluency framework and it simply works. This is why native speakers can speak fluently. They're following the fluency framework and it just works. What about your day? 3-part day breakdown. Morning. This morning I sat on the balcony with my coffee just as the sun came up, completely silent, and I realized how rarely I let myself do nothing. I've started protecting that quiet time on purpose. Who? Me. What? Quiet coffee at sunrise. When? Early this morning. Where? My balcony. Why? It sets a calm tone for my whole day. What about your afternoon? This afternoon, a colleague and I escaped a stuffy meeting room to grab lunch downstairs. And over sandwiches, we accidentally brainstormed the best idea our teams had in months. Who? A colleague and me. What? An unplanned brainstorm. When? This afternoon. Where? The cafe downstairs. Why? It proved good ideas don't come from formal meetings. And what about the evening? Last night, my roommate and I stayed up far too late in the evening, just talking. We hadn't really caught up in weeks, and somehow it turned into one of those conversations you don't want to end. Who? My roommate and me. What? A long overdue late night talk. When? Last night. Where? Our living room. Why? It reminded me to make time for the people right next to me. You see what happens when you simply use the framework. Just follow the framework. Here's the belief shift for you. You have a lifetime of stories. The elements of a story, give them shape. And the 5 W's, who, what, when, where, and why, make sure nothing is missing. So your English finally carries the real, full you. So what does it look like all together? For our topic being my morning. Layer 1, remember we're looking at the fluency framework, the FluencyPanion. We have layer 1 now. This is what layer 1 looks like. 3 details. I wake up around 7. I always have coffee first, and I check the news while it's quiet. What about our next layer, layer 2? Opinion and 3 reasons. And honestly, I love mornings. I'm an early bird. It's the most peaceful part of my day. My mind is sharpest and I feel ahead of everything. Ooh. When you put the layers together, it naturally becomes a fluent response. Layer 3. In fact, this morning I sat on my balcony with my coffee just as the sun came up, completely silent, and realized how rarely I let myself do nothing. So I've started protecting that quiet time on purpose. What just happened? You followed the FluencyPanion framework, and now you understand how native speakers actually speak fluently and how you can follow the simple framework. Now, this is a framework that I've developed to help you as an English learner. I have a notebook as well. I want you to get this notebook. You can go to shop.speakenglishwithtiffani.com. This is the notebook that on the front has the FluencyPanion framework right on the cover, so you'll never forget it. You can use this notebook. Each day, use the FluencyPanion framework to write about your day. Layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Trust me, the more you practice, the more you use it, the more fluent you will become. So if you want the notebook that I've created just for you to remind you of the FluencyPanion so you can stop being frustrated, all you have to do is go to shop.speakenglishwithtiffani.com. I hope you enjoy this lesson, and I'll talk to you next time. You still there? You know what time it is. It's story time. Hey, hey, hey. I said it's story time. All right. Today's story is something that whenever I think about this situation and this person, I smile. My heart is warmed. So just to give you some context, now I am your English teacher, and it's written all over my face how much I enjoy teaching you, how much I enjoy breaking down frameworks and ideas to help you on your English journey. I love to give. I am naturally a giver. It brings me joy to help other people. So among my friend group, amongst my friends, I'm the one who's usually giving. I love to give. Now, my friends are givers. They're amazing. I simply love to give. At church, this is not part of the story, I'm known as the church auntie, because if I find out you like a snack, every week at church, I'll put it in my purse and I'll say, psst, come here. Here you go. I'm talking about adults and children. I just love to give things to people that makes them happy, right? So when you're naturally a giver, sometimes it's not easy to be on the receiving end, because I don't need a lot. I'm just happy making other people happy. But when someone else exudes or exemplifies the same quality towards me, it kind of makes my head tilt, and it's a warm feeling that I get. So this is about one of my friends who is also a giver. Her name is Madi. She may or may not see this video. So this happened maybe about 2 years ago. I got very sick. I thought it may have been COVID because I had like chills, but I had this cough that I couldn't get rid of, and it just was giving me COVID vibes. I had COVID before 2 times, so I said, I think I have COVID. Just the way the way I was coughing, and things were kind of like leading up to, this is probably COVID. As a result, I was trying to stay clear of other people. I didn't want to bother anyone, but I was really sick. I was too sick to make food. I didn't really feel like getting up to make soup. I just wanted to stay in bed. So I had orange juice delivered from the store. And so I was trying to keep liquids inside, and I had some crackers and some canned soup, but I didn't feel like making anything. So my friend Madi, she had called me and she was like, Tiff, what's going on? I said, I think I'm getting sick. And this is the day before it got really bad. And she's like, okay, I'll be praying for you. I said, thank you so much. So the next day she followed up and said, hey, Tiff, how did you sleep last night? And I said, it was a rough night. It wasn't a good night. It really was kind of hard. But I said, I'll be okay. Thank you so much for your prayers. I'm trying to pump the liquids. She was like, are you eating? I said, I don't really feel like cooking. So I'm kind of, I have some soup that I'm kind of, eating out of the can, but, or I've canned soup. She's like, okay, do you want me to get you anything? And I was like, no, it's okay. I don't want to get you sick. I said, I don't want to get you sick because it's probably very contagious. She said, okay, don't worry about me. And that was kind of where she left off. And I was like, okay, thank you for your prayer. She's like, no worries. 30 minutes go by, an hour go by, and she messaged me. She said, I'm stopping by Mom's. It's an organic market here, and I'm getting you some soup and some juices. Is there anything else you need? And I was about to say, no, don't do that. But I could tell. I said, wait a minute. I'm a giver, and I know I'm seeing something. She's like, I want to help you. So I'm like, okay. I was like, yeah, the soup is going to be good, and maybe some extra crackers, right? I said, when you come, to wear a mask. I was really worried about her. So I thought she was just going to drop it off. So about an hour goes by, and I hear a knock on my door. So I get out the bed. Again, I'm completely disheveled. I'm not feeling good, nose blowing, everything, right? So I go to the door thinking I'm just going to kind of crack it and take it from her and say thank you. I go to open the door. She said, hey, girl, hey, chick, and gave me a hug. And I'm like, I don't want to get you sick. She said, Tiff, it's okay. You're sick. I'm going to basically take care of you. So she brought the soup. She brought this juice that I still drink now when I feel like my immune system is compromised. And I was just standing there watching her, like she was putting the soup in my kitchen and moving things around. And I was like, man, Lord, it's such a blessing to have good friends, right? I have many good friends. This is just one example in this situation, many good friends. But that moment when she didn't think about herself, she was like, Tiff, you're sick. I want to help you feel better. And she just came in, and I didn't ask her for anything. And she brought me what was needed, which actually did help me get better faster. That has forever been cemented in my mind as a pivotal moment in our friendship. Like, you really are a good person. You really care about others, and you really are a giver. And I really appreciated it because I didn't have any energy at that time. But the soup was delicious, by the way. The juice helped me, and I did get better after a few days. So I bring this situation up because in your life, you're going to meet people who will help you. They may be friends, they may be family members, they may be strangers that just kind of drop things off, right? Let people know how much you appreciate them. And I told her, I was like, girl, you don't even realize how much I appreciate you. And she's consistent. She's been a consistent friend, consistently been there for me, and I really appreciate her. And I have her back. If she ever needs anything, I got her back. The people in your life that have your back, the people in your life who've done something for you, let them know how much you appreciate them. Madi, thank you so much for who you are, girl. I appreciate you. Love your friend. And to you, the student watching this, remember to appreciate those around you. I'll talk to you in the next lesson.